In this video series, we're going to share over several videos some of my thoughts and advice around how to organize your lean team. These are generally the resources that you would consider lean as their job description or continuous improvement or whatever you want to call it. Certainly this is an area that I get asked a lot of advice on because there's no one right answer. There might be a right answer for your organization at any particular time, but even that has to change over time. Now in this first video, we're going to talk about the role that your lean team plays. There's primarily 5 roles that a lean team or lean resources play in an organization. The first and most obvious is usually the training that goes on. This is why the reason it's obvious is that it happens particularly more earlier in the journey. And so you look at the training, delivering training to inside resources with your internal lean capabilities. Coaching is an extension of that, but a very different role. It requires different capabilities and a different maturity as well on the part of the rest of the organization. Facilitation often is very early as well, helping facilitate events and improvement efforts one way or the other, whether that's more project management facilitation or Kaizen events and things like this. We also look at just executing continuous improvement. This is when your lean resources actually own the project, they deliver the results. This is often done not as much as of a blend with the others, but certainly we see it as an option very often. And then fifth, and usually not as a standalone, but combined with the others, is really building out infrastructure. This is the tool sets that you use, whether it's digital platforms or newsletters or holding internal events or summits. So these moments of infrastructure or tools of infrastructure that help support or enable the lean journey. So these are the 5 key roles. There's probably other aspects that you can define that might fit within one of those buckets, at least in my interpretation of that model. Now, what your lean team's role actually is depends on 3 main factors that I find are the highest impact. First is the actual available skills that you have within your team. Now, you may aspire to something else, find you don't have those skills in your team, and decide to turn the whole team over, or longer term, build those skills. But some skills you can deliver value in early on and grow them over time. Others, you'll essentially fail to deliver that value and it'll just be a mismatch. And so you have to look at the skills you have. If you have a very immature team in terms of their experience with continuous improvement and lean, putting them in a coaching role where their diversity of thought and experience becomes super important probably isn't going to be that successful. So really understand the skills that you have to work with. Second is the demand that your internal customers have. What are their needs? Fundamentally, you are a service organization. You are helping others. And you may have decision makers that want you to do one thing, but you might have users, the people that you actually interact with, that have other needs. You really have to look at all of that from that standpoint. So look at the needs of your customers. Now, this is a particular point where the idea of the lean team driving projects comes into play. Because generally, I don't really like that as a particular pursuit. I believe the organization should be solving their own problems, should be making their own improvements. So why should the lean team do it? Well, if your relationship with those internal customers is not yet built on credibility, and what they're asking for is for help in fixing a project, they may not want your help in terms of training, coaching, or facilitation. They might just want somebody to go solve it. Should you do that? Well, if you need to build credibility with those internal customers, that might be the exact choice you want to make. And then the third thing that is really a huge factor is the maturity of the organization, the maturity of the lean journey. Early on in a lean journey, you might be focused much more on more controlled applications. So training and facilitation might be a much bigger part of it. But as you mature, both the lean team and the organization, You want to turn more ownership of that. You might even turn the training over to be delivered by your lead users throughout the organization. And you focus the lean team more on being coaches of those resources. So consider your organization as a bell curve. And are you keeping that bell curve stretched out so that you continue to have lead users, you're continuing to build strength on the front edge while pulling the rest of the organization along? And then where does your lean team fit into that journey? So don't just adopt whatever you did before. Reflect every once in a while and adjust your plan for what role your lean or CI resources should be providing to the organization.